Hello everybody and welcome to the AOR F1 2016 Season 12 Championship. We're in Singapore for the 15th round of the season after a thrilling race at Monza. My name is Justin, and joining me for all of the day's commentary, it's Fizzy once again.
Yes, hello Justin, hello everyone. We are at Singapore, as you said, and it's not one of my personal favorite tracks, but it is certainly a very, very challenging track for all these drivers today, and a very different one to the one we were at last week at Monza. So I'm looking forward, once again, to see how these drivers cope with the challenges.
Yeah, these drivers need a lot of focus. There's not a lot of time to mentally relax around this Marina Bay circuit. 23 turns, 31 laps awaiting the driver. Last time out at the Italian Grand Prix, it was the Flying Finn who took another win, extending his lead to Sayaryu, who had an impressive comeback drive to grab second on the podium, with Martin grabbing third position and edging that little bit closer to Cupid in the battle for third in the championship standings. Enough about that though, let's get things started with the qualifying report.
Welcome to the qualifying comparison for the Singapore Grand Prix. Jumping aboard with the Mercedes of TR Martin on the left and the Force India of Ycoms on the right as they take on the Marina Bay street circuit under the floodlights in Singapore. So coming through turn 1, both drivers very clean, taking a lot of curb on the inside, and then through turn 3, Ycoms having to use first gear to get enough turn in to get the car around the corner, whereas Martin can leave it in second. As a result, he has gained slightly coming into turn 5, and both drivers taking identical lines, very clean through there, getting on DRS as early as possible before coming through the kink at turn 6, completely flat before coming into the end of the first sector, braking for this 90-degree left, and TR Martin is marginally ahead, although he's run wide on the exit, has a downshift, which will have cost him some momentum coming into this hairpin. Both drivers using first gear, Martin having a bit of traffic ahead of him, but again, both drivers take identical lines through this corner, with Martin opting to short shift on the exit up to 5th gear to minimise the wheel spin as much as possible before opening up this left-hander as much as possible and then trying to set yourself up for the hairpin. Martin getting extremely close to the wall on the inside there before utilising yet again his short shifting technique before taking a very wide swooping line into the hairpin and, surprise surprise, short shifting yet again. But setting yourself up for this hairpin, braking just after 100 metres down to 2nd gear, clipping the curb on the apex nicely. Martin again is marginally ahead of Ycoms and again is short shifting on the exit. He can see the time Sayaryu has set at the top of his screen, but coming through the tricky final sector now, so many tight corners, so many chicanes. Again, Martin has a bit of traffic, yellow flags coming out to distract him as well as we go underneath the bridge here, up into 3rd gear as they clip the curb on the exit, and then coming through the final few corners. This chicane is extremely easy to lose the car out of. Martin and Ycoms both having significant amounts of oversteer. Before coming into the final few corners, Martin will come up to the line to take 4th place with a 3/10 advantage over Ycoms, who will line up in 9th.
Thank you, LK, for that lovely comparison. Here is the full qualifying result, and you can see the Flying Finn. Unsurprisingly, he's been on pole quite a few times this season and is there again, but only by a very small margin, less than half a tenth of a second ahead of Sayaryu, who will line up with him on the front row. All of these drivers qualifying on the fastest ultra-soft tires now that the tire wear glitch is no longer in effect, thank God, which means the times are very close, particularly from 3rd place down, as Reversal in the Sauber edges out Martin just about for 3rd. Then comes CRL Hamilton and Burnout, both with impressive qualifyings in 5th and 6th ahead of TRL Limitless and STSF1 Alonso on the 4th row. Ycoms, as you saw in the comparison, will start in P9 ahead of Franglish, and then there is a old Ferrari 6th row on the grid with a Raikkonen just about edging out Jason. Towards the lower end we got RS Falcon in 13th ahead of Leobot, who was only 9,000ths of a second ahead of Stu in the Force India. Lucky Dog then follows in the Haas, and then 6 Skills the final man to set a time in 17th position. Mike Marshmallow in 18th with a Qualy ban. He will still be ahead of Andre though, who chose himself not to set a time in the session as per usual. Then of course ATR Cupid missing from the grid today because of the race ban after accumulating quite a few penalty points throughout the season. Strees and Snowder also missing from the grid. So then it's all set and ready to go for the Singapore Grand Prix.
Welcome to the streets of Singapore for round 15 of this AOR Season 12 Championship. 19 drivers are on the grid for what is sure to be a race of attrition. No matter how much experience you have, no matter how much you've been practicing, the barriers are always so close in this race. And with a 33% chance of rain, Fizzy, it's going to be tough out there today.
It definitely is. You can see the layout of the circuit here, lots of corners and a very, very long slow speed circuit. And despite the length of it though, we're going to be doing 31 laps, so it's it's as close as you get to an endurance race in this league. Nearly an hour of racing will be had today, compared to, for example, the Belgian Grand Prix, which was around 40 minutes, so it's a big difference. And yeah, these guys will have to keep focused for a long time here to get a good result.
Yep, and those two guys that we just saw on the screen momentarily are actually, Reversal sat just behind them, the two championship leaders, Searu and the Flying Finn, just in a class of their own today in qualifying, 4/10 quicker than all the other cars, while those two guys, the Williams and the Renault up at front, separated by less than half a tenth, very, very close between them, but it does seem a big gap to the rest of the field, so certainly everybody's eyes are going to be on those two championship contenders, but it does tighten up quite a bit after that, so I'm expecting a fierce battle for that final podium position.
Yeah, definitely. It's very close from third down on the grid. As you said, the championship contenders are up there at the front, but yeah, I'm expecting lots of close racing, despite the difficulty of overtaking on this circuit. And of course, have to look out for someone like Tyrrell Martin as well, starting from fourth, who will be looking to get a good result here to take himself ahead of Cupid, potentially in the championship, who is not here today, of course, because of accumulating all those penalty points and getting a race ban.
Yep, so I think just 6th position is needed for him to overtake Cupid in the championship, but let's focus on the drivers who are actually here today. There is Tyrrell Martin in 4th position as the lights go out, and it looks like a good start for the Williams driver, not so much for Searu, or excuse me, the Mercedes driver, I should say. Reversal, though, looking to go around the outside of Searu into turn 1. He's actually pressurizing. Oh, gosh, and that was one of the Williams cars. I think that must have been Alonso that was off into the barrier there. Oh, gosh, and we've got a Ferrari off. Oh, both Ferraris coming to blows together. I'm not sure what triggered that incident there, but Reversal now ahead of Searu. Searu, the Renault driver, dropping down into 3rd position. Tyrrell Martin hot on his heels, heading down in towards at the end of Raffles Boulevard into turn 7. Can he make the move? No, he can't. Burnout F1 coming under attack from CRL Hamilton. Franglish running just ahead of his teammate, RS Falcon. The two McLarens running in the points so far. Ycoms holding on to that 10th place position, and it looks like Burnout F1 is going to lose that position. TRL Limitless now all over the back of the Renault driver. Meanwhile, his teammate, again, down into 3rd, but Reversal actually seemingly less worried about Searu behind and more concerned about the Flying Finn up ahead.
He is indeed really pressuring for the lead, actually, which is a little, not too surprising. Reversal's been up there in some races this season, but he was quite a bit up in qualifying. But now he's really on the back of the Flying Finn, getting a nice lift from air down to the next right-hander, and it's going up the inside, braking very late, though, nearly hitting the wall, and the Flying Finn defends it perfectly, cutting underneath after Reversal was a little bit too optimistic, and now he definitely has to be worried about Searu, but it covers him up. And man, that was some close racing on the first lap. Flying Finn only just holding on to the lead.
Yeah, and this is what we like to see, battling for the lead of the race. As I mentioned, the two McLarens in the top 10. It should be mentioned, actually, we didn't talk about this just yet, but this is the first race without the tire wear glitch, so everybody in the top 10 is running the Ultra Softs. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, it looks like we've got some differing strategies, some Super Softs, some Softs. STSF1 Alonso on the Ultra Softs, and it does look like he is actually still running. Jason97F1 in one of those two Ferraris that were involved in lap 1 incidents is going to be very cautious into the pit lane, where he is going to get a wing change for sure. Meanwhile, that Williams of Alonso into the pits as well, and AOR Raikkonen in the other Ferrari is actually going to get held up in the pits, unfortunately for him, and his teammate, I think, got held for the Williams up ahead. There's only 3 guys coming into the pits, Fizzy, and somehow they've stepped all over each other's toes.
Yeah, they have. It's been a nightmare start here for the Ferrari. It seems, just look at how much time Raikkonen is losing here. It's probably a double pit lane time frame on that occasion. But here we have a replay then of the start from the view of the Flying Finn, starting from pole position. Bit of wheel spin offline, but then he moves immediately over to the left to cover off Searu behind. That maybe puts Searu off a little bit. You can see him from his view now, actually. Reversal looked like he got a slightly better launch than Searu, and he will be moving to the outside into the first corner. Searu can't brake too late because of Flying Finn being in the way, and Reversal just goes around the outside. Very near some contact there. Yeah, but it was a great move from Reversal to go up to 2nd place, and Ycoms with a very slow start. I wonder if the lights went out later for him, actually, if he had a sort of delayed light out sequence, because that didn't seem quite normal. And then you could see quite a bit of argy-bargy between the cars ahead of him, and there was some contact with Falcon then that triggered Raikkonen spinning into his teammate on the left-hand side of the track. Here's what happened to Alonso.
Oh.
Kind of with Limitless, actually.
Very light tap, but he got
very
sent into
light.
that wall pretty hard.
I'm going to guess that from Limitless' point of view, it probably wouldn't have looked like much at all. But yeah, big impact for Alonso, and then probably a similar story for Falcon as well.
Yeah.
That he probably, actually we can see it from his view, because it was a very light tap with him as well, but Raikkonen just losing full control of the car.
Yeah, I really don't see what Falcon could have done there. I don't think that was. I think these are all almost entirely racing incidents. Ooh, Jason97 getting very eager up the inside, but yeah, that's when the contact happened between Falcon and Raikkonen. Yeah, and there he goes off, losing that front wing. So meanwhile, end of lap number 2 now as we start the lap number 3, and of course DRS is going to be activated as we start this lap, and that gap between Reversal and Sayaru is growing, but actually as is the gap between the Flying Finn and Reversal as well. Meanwhile, Ycoms still trying to defend this 10th place position from Leobot, who's going to dive up the inside at turn 1 with the super soft tires. Lucky Dog 2000 now, who actually has won this race in AOR in the past, so he's down in 13th position right now, but with a different tire strategy. Ycoms on those ultra softs right now, actually losing out to Leobot on the super softs, and it's got me wondering, Fizzy, if maybe these ultra softs are already starting to go off.
I'm not sure about that because it's very low tire wear track, but I think Ycoms did get some front wing damage on the first lap. Oh, and that's nearly some. I'm actually surprised there wasn't any front wing damage for Lucky Dog, who did tap the back of Ycoms there. But yeah, it was. I think it's mainly because of that wing damage that Ycoms was holding up quite a bit of a train, and the gap from him up to the bunch ahead had increased. And you can see, look at the minimap as well. The field's basically split in half. Apart from the 3 guys way at the back, it's 2 big trains going on at the moment.
Yeah, even Sayaru now having to worry about TRL Martin behind him as they head down the back straight towards turn 14, and Burnout F1, again, the other Renault driver who has been incredibly unlucky throughout this entire season, is going to have a little bit of a moment coming out of that turn 14, actually, and making some contact with the barrier. Looks like he's got some very, very light damage to his front left wing end plate. And the two McLarens holding station in the top 10, 8th and 9th, still holding on there. Lucky Dog all over the back of Ycoms now. And as you mentioned, with that front wing damage on that Force India, he's got to be really struggling right now. It is a lower speed circuit, but oh man, you could just see how much more speed the Haas is able to carry through there. And yeah, Ycoms has had enough. He's going to dive into the pits, it would seem. Yep, he is coming into the pits for a very early stop. So I have to assume, Fizzy, that this means that these guys are definitely going to be two-stopping.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was because of it being a very low tire wear track. I think it's a chance, even if you start on the ultra soft, that you could stretch it with a one stop if you go into the soft tires. But actually, we're gonna look at the battle for the lead. Oh, and Reversal gonna dive up the inside. Looks like Finn was defending a little bit on the inside line, but Reversal chose to go for the gap, and again now into the next corner. Finn seeing him coming though, leaving just about the perfect amount of room there to defend. Man, Reversal trying to get aggressive with the race leader and the championship leader, and it's great to see that they're both able to keep it clean. Yeah, Finn holding on, but Reversal really looking feisty so far in this race, which is good to see.
Yeah, of course, clean air can be very important here. Just getting out of that dirty air can really help. I know we've been talking about the low tire wear and everything, but oh, Lucky Dog now, that's definitely some contact with the barrier there. That's going to allow 6 skills into 13th position. Andre moving up into 14th position. RS Falcon now coming under attack from Burnout F1. He was up in 7th position. Is he going to drop back down into 8th? No, it looks like he was able to hold him off around the outside of turn 14 there. Burnout F1, though, still managing to hold on to the back of him, and Reversal, again, you can see the carbon fiber, the bits of front wing in that tunnel there, Fizzy, and the Flying Finn. Oh, that's wide there for Reversal. That's really going to hinder him through these final couple of corners. That's going to put a big gap between him and the Williams up ahead, and I wonder if that's going to put Sayaru on the back of him. We can see that proximity arrow. He is pretty close, less than 4/10 between the Sauber and the Renault as they head down into turn 1 to start lap number 5. Very aggressive onto the curbing for AOR Reversal, and Sayaru keeping it a little bit cleaner there. Really avoiding the curbing entirely is Sayaru. I don't know if that's just a lack of confidence in the curbing or in himself at this circuit, but here we go. This looks like a fantastic opportunity for the Renault driver. He's got the DRS. The Sauber has the DRS too, but isn't getting quite that strong slipstream effect that Sayaryu was getting, but it wasn't enough for him. Couldn't get alongside at the end of the DRS straight. And 6 Skills and Andre, who just got past Lucky Dog, and now Franglish actually now past Lucky Dog. Lucky Dog now down into 15th position, and 6 Skills coming under attack from Andre, and he just makes it look nice and easy. Gets the overtake done even before the braking zone there, Fizzy.
Yeah, good move from Andre, who started at the back, of course. He likes to do that, not set a qualifying time, start from the back and see how much he can climb it throughout the race. Oh, never mind.
Oh, okay.
That's some big lag there for a reversal. Looked like he went straight off into the run-off area there.
Yeah.
But luckily for him, that was only lag, so he's still looking good and has closed up slightly again, I feel, after that slight mistake on the previous lap behind the flying fin. It's obviously it's very small margins when you're racing in a field like this. A tiny mistake like what Reversal did, and you suddenly visibly lose a lot of time, as now, again, Reversal slowing down a lot. I'm not sure now if this is actually lag. So, and Sayaryu basically pushing him around these front corners, and he's gone now. Justin, what is going on there?
Oh gosh, and he has reappeared in 5th position, so he has lost 3 positions. Oh no, and that's a big moment. Yeah, and that's going to drop him down.
Freeze.
Yep, these are definitely not helping him whatsoever. He now finds himself behind the McLaren of RS Falcon, who I'm sure is going to be very excited about that position. And it looks like he's going to lose a position to Leobot as well if these screen freezes continue on. But meanwhile, back up at the front, TRL Martin now making a move on Sayaryu for what is now P2. Is going to go, well, what would have been around the outside, but actually, again, getting the move done even before the braking zone, running very wide there. That's probably going to be a track extension warning for the Mercedes driver, so he's going to have to keep that in the back of his mind. Franglish, meanwhile, the other McLaren, they started right next to each other. The two McLarens, or they were right next to each other at the beginning of the race. Here's the replay of lap 4 contact between Limitless and Burnout. That was a bit aggressive, methinks, and Franglish is going to say thank you very much. That's how he grabbed that 7th place position, and this is Burnout F1 now losing the position. Oh, and there goes, and that's what happened to Franglish. Yep, that's why he is way off his teammate now. And this is the replay of lap 5, the end of lap 5. That's a big old screen freeze for AOR Reversal. That's when he just went missing for a couple of seconds there, Fizzy, and then reappeared in 5th. Very unfortunate for the Sauber driver. We can see at the end of lap 5, that's a replay of the screen freeze that he had when RS Falcon went through. And I mean, that's got to be so frustrating.
That's absolutely heartbreaking to look at, especially considering the position he was in. It looked like he was potentially being able to challenge for the lead of this race, as that's a very interesting pit entry from Burnout there. Drive-through penalty as well from a decent position, to be honest, in the field. But yeah, then he has to go in and... Actually, this is Sayaryu, who didn't speed, his teammate. So Sayaryu has gone into the pits to change onto soft tires, potentially going for a one-stop then, a long stint, and of course with the chance of rain as well, maybe he doesn't have to go quite to the end of those.
Good, yeah, good call. I completely forgot about the 33% chance of rain. With these dark skies, of course, racing at night, it's hard to see the cloud cover if there is any, so yeah, easy to forget about that, but let's not forget about the battle for first position. TRL Martin has closed right up on the flying fin, and it does look like both of them are going to dive into the pits at the end of lap 7, so responding to that pit stop from Sayaryu in the red. Just barely getting it slowed down. TRL Martin attacking that pit lane entrance. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So they also, well, he will go into the soft tires, and also
and
onto
he'll
the
come
soft
out
tires.
ahead.
Oh, yes. So it's been jumped then by TRL Martin, who then will go into the net lead of the race, which is interesting. TRL Martin only a couple of laps ago was in 4th, got helped by the reversal screen freeze, then of course Sayaryu lost the arrest because of that, and then he got past him, and now he's jumped Finn in the pits. So TRL Martin looking suddenly very good after starting P4 in this race.
Yep, and Sayaryu is going to come out just behind the flying fin, and with 1 lap older tires, but they are going to be a little bit more up to temperature. Now, it's not like you come out with ice-cold tires out of the pits anymore or anything. It's been a lot of years since we saw that kind of stuff, but here is RS Falcon and Limitless battling for 2nd position. I'm not sure, my French is not so good, so I'm not sure what that said just now. But it does seem that and it looks like Franglish has disconnected. The other McLaren, as I mentioned, they were running right near each other. Here's Jason97, who had a fantastic
that is Franglish
view
in the wall
of Franglish just brushing up against the wall there. I'm not sure what's going on with the McLaren driver. Ycoms is going to say thank you very much and take a free position. And this is Falcon. Oh, getting, yeah, wow. I guess he wasn't expecting Limitless to break that early for that corner. That was a bit of a strange one for turn 5 there. Stu and Mike Marshmallow going side by side at turn 14. Oh, God, and that did not end well for either of those drivers. And Andre says thank you. I will take both those positions. And now here's Martin after diving into the pits. We're back live with lap number 9, and Martin is being held up by 6 Skills in that manner up ahead, who is on soft compound tires, but much older soft compound tires compared to the Mercedes driver. Oh, and he's getting defensive as well. I'm not sure if 6 Skills and the Flying Finn are maybe friends outside of the races, but 6 Skills certainly not making it easy on TRL Martin, and that has allowed the Flying Finn to close right up on the back of him. Light rain scheduled in 15 minutes time, which would be less than 10 laps there, Fizzy, so we could have quite a wet race on our hands here. Meanwhile, Sayaryu is being helped by 6 Skills, the Manor driver now holding up TRL Martin and the Flying Finn. Here we go, DRS activated for them. Now he's going to be side by side before they even cross the start-finish line. And here comes the Flying Finn with an almighty toe, and Sayaryu has completely... Oh, no! Oh, no! And Sayaryu has taken 6 Skills out of this race. I think I need to see a replay of that, but that seemed very unfortunate.
Yeah, you were talking about 6 Skills helping Ciari out, and he's not exactly repaid that help by putting him into the wall. Looks like Ciari just completely misses breaking point, to be honest. But yeah, definitely want to see a replay of that. As Flying Finn is now going for a move on TRL Martin, who tried to cut underneath but wasn't able to do it, getting very close to touching his rear tire. But that was a good move with DRS, of course, from the Flying Finn. Another potential DRS overtake coming here for P10 now. Jason right behind RS Falcon, both on the super soft tires. Going for an interesting or different strategy, of course. Jason pitting after the first lap to change onto these. Falcon pitting a bit later on, but no overtake on that occasion. But yeah, the Flying Finn now back ahead of TRL Martin. But good to see this trio still very close together. But of course, depending on whether 6 Skills goes to the sewage with what happened with TRU, something might come of that. Let's have a look.
Yep. I think Sayaryu might get some sort of something. I mean, at least a warning of some kind. We could see it now from on board the Manor driver. He is as far to the right as he could possibly be. He just goes to turn in for the corner, and that Renault is moving the other direction. We can see it from the Flying Finn's point of view. From his. Oh wow, that was very deep. Interesting. I'm surprised. Well, okay, I guess he did kind of give the position back, though, after the corner. Oh, Limitless on the limit into the pit entry, and I hope he didn't put... I hope Falcon didn't push Limitless, because I know that can happen. I know a driver can push another driver past the pit lane speed limit as they're coming into the pits. Yeah, I think we have seen that before in the past, but, oh, Limitless has disconnected from the session. His AI is still driving around, so he can still get back in this race, but he's definitely going to lose that position to 6 Skills and probably to RS Falcon here as well, as his car is ghosted. So yeah, he doesn't even have to take the inside line. He could just drive right through him, through the apex of the corner. And actually, RS Falcon possibly going to have a look at 6 Skills here into the turn 13 hairpin. He's just got so much more grip than the Manor driver does with those super softs, and 6 Skills might have some damage at the moment, which may not be helping him. He's going to defend the inside line into turn 14. The McLaren driver going to try and do it around the outside, and does so very nicely for RS Falcon. Moves up into P8. Andre BCF, one of those guys with the soft compound tires, and he is going to continue on in the lead of this race, but the de facto leaders have now caught up to him. Sayaryu and 6 Skills under investigation for causing a collision. No surprise there. I think we knew that was going to happen, but we will have to see what the stewards decide.
Indeed. Interesting with Andre in the lead, actually, because as mentioned earlier, he started right at the back of the field with some fresh, soft tires, and you know, it kind of shows the field, you know, being quite close together when he can just take the lead after starting from the back, just because of everyone else pitting. But now, of course, he is right in front of these net leaders, and will be a lot slower on more worn tires, of course, and he's actually just completely gotten out of the way of them. Doesn't want to be involved in that at all. Pulls over to the side, let all these guys go, which is, you know, nice gesture, I suppose. He didn't have to do it, of course, but at least he might even save himself some time just by the fact of not having to worry about them. So
right. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I do question where he let them through, though. If I were him, I would have let them through here and then followed them through Sector 3 and tried to pick up that DRS at the beginning of the next lap. But that's all right. He's going to be able to continue on and not have to worry about those guys behind him. So, yeah, I think that was probably a pretty good call because, I mean, these guys are locked into an intense battle, as we can see between Martin and the Flying Finn. The Flying Finn using every bit of the circuit and probably going a bit deep at times as well. I think into turn 16, not having the best of lines, and Tyrrell Martin is all over the back of him. He is going to pick up the DRS here, of course, on the start-finish straight. He is going to also carry a lot more speed through the final couple of corners. There goes the DRS. Now, is he going to try and do the overtake into turn 1?
He's turned it up. He's turned it up.
Yep, he doesn't want to do the overtake into turn 1. He thinks that's probably going to be a little too difficult, and he's going to take a very late apex for turn 3 there. Very, very late apex, trying to get on the throttle as early as possible, get a nice run through there, carry as much speed through turn 5 here, and he's going to try and set himself up for the best possible overtaking attempt into turn 7. However, the Flying Finn is, of course, going to be wise to all of this. He's going to see this coming from a mile away, and yeah, he had a fantastic run through turn 5 himself and was actually able to keep that Mercedes behind. So it is still Flying Finn leading Martin and then Sayaryu, and Andre still holding on to that 4th place position for the meantime, but again, still with a pit stop to make. And here is Lucky Dog coming under attack from... Oh, yeah, we saw that earlier, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. These are replays, but I do believe we saw clips of these already. And yeah, some great defending there against Stu as they start lap number 12 now. And Stu is going to go up the inside of turn number 1 with some late braking and get the move done. Nice clean move into turn number 1, but of course Lucky Dog will get the DRS at the very next DRS activation zone. AOR Raikkonen with a big drift through the final corner, and I mean, he's lucky to have all 4 wheels on the car, so he should be thanking his lucky stars. All he got was front wing damage.
Yeah, wow, that was a massive drift. And it goes from bad to worse from Raikkonen. Let's see what happened between Jason and Y. Comes into the final corner. Y comes certainly getting very close, but going wide as a result of it. But now though, on lap 16, we are around the halfway point of the race now. And Y comes still right on the back of Jason. On soft tires compared to Jason's super softs, of course. I'm gonna guess though, despite both of these guys pitting very early in the race, they'll probably want to try and stress this in case, especially with that getting that message that the rain is coming in about 15 minutes. That was about lap 10 we got that message.
Yeah,
so,
like 5 or 6 laps ago.
Yeah, exactly. So it can't be too much longer to wait, but let's see if Ycoms can make a move here with the DRS. Not quite close enough on the main straight, but it's not the longest of straights. Certainly not as long as the next one that he'll get an opportunity at. Nearly pushing Jason around the circuit as it stands. I think quite a bit more tire life in those soft tires at the moment. And here we go, good exit as well. He surely is close enough to the back of that Ferrari to make this move with the DRS. Keeps the throttle planted to the floor, goes for the inside line. Can he nail the braking though? That is the big question. And he does indeed, hitting the apex perfectly. Keeping it on the track, and that is a textbook good DRS overtake from Ycoms.
Yeah, went a little bit wide at the turn 8 right-hander there, so Jason 97 F1 I don't think thinks this battle is over just yet. Meanwhile, the other Ferrari of AOR Raikkonen running around on the Ultra Softs at the moment, and it's another big moment at the final corner. He sets fastest lap of the race.
Oh, it's on new tires
sideways. Now, yeah. I mean, those Ultra Softs clearly giving a lot of speed, but at the expense of some serious excitement. I mean, wow. I mean, he is right on the limit with that, even beyond the limit. At least he learned, you would say.
Now, because at least this time he saved the slide.
Right. So here we go with Sayaryu and TRL Martin, the Flying Finn, beginning to extend that gap up at the front. We'll actually get to see just how big that gap is at the split at the end of the Raffles Boulevard DRS straight, but it does look like he does not need to worry about TRL Martin all that much. Martin, I think, is going to get DRS here. Oh, and that's a terrible turn 5 for Sayaryu. That's going to completely destroy any chance that he had of possibly trying to make an overtake on TRL Martin. Yeah, and there is the gap, Fizzy. 1.2 seconds between Martin. Oh, and there's some track limit warning for Seiryu. I don't know what number that is for him, but he's certainly going to have to be careful if that is getting close to number 3. Of course, this is a very, very difficult track to not get those kinds of track extensions and corner cut warnings and all that kind of stuff. Very easy to make those kinds of mistakes, especially when you have such a long race around such a demanding circuit as this one. And here we go. Force India versus Ferrari once again. And it does look like Stu is going to get by very easily with that DRS on the DRS straight down into turn 7. And again, the Ferrari of Jason just a little bit later on the brakes, but just couldn't get alongside him or anything. So he's going to stay behind for now and possibly make that overtake later on in the race. But both of these guys battling for points paying positions, so that's always good to see. And it does seem that Seiryu, that gap to Tyrrell Martin up ahead, still a little bit large after that mistake in the first sector. So let's see what he could do in the final sector. We're well into the halfway point of this race now, and we still have, I mean, again, it is growing up at the front, Fizzy. The Flying Fin is pulling away, but it's still relatively close. I mean, yeah, it's now just 1.6 seconds, so he's gained a few more tenths, but it is still pretty close up at the front here.
It is very close, and Seiryu, crucially for him, staying within the DRS range of Martin, whereas Martin has not been able to do that for the Flying Fin. I think, though, on board with Seiryu there too, during the main straight, I did see a few little rain droplets coming down, actually.
Ooh.
So I think we're getting into the zone now, where these guys will be waiting for the crossover point, potentially. And we'll be looking to get onto a set of intermediates. And already, actually, yeah, I can visibly see some raindrops now. It's not very easy to see with this lighting, but there we go. Stu and Jason into the pits. Leobot's going to carry on. Lucky Dog and Bernard, though, as well, going to go in. So, we just see who nails this, who gets it right in terms of what lap to pit on. Is it too early now? Is the big question, of course, for Jason and Stu. We will see as they come out of the pits, but this is certainly going to get very exciting. And question, of course, as well, will this affect the order throughout the field in any way, shape, or form?
Yep, we will have to see, but yeah, you can visibly see the raindrops coming down even in the pit lane now as the Renault gets released just in front of the Manor. Jason97 does appear to be the lead intermediate driver, if I'm not mistaken. The car ahead,
Jumps too, actually.
Yep, yeah, and that battle between Jason and Stu continues to rage on. Seiryu and TRL Martin are certainly going to be thinking about coming into the pits. I don't know if they're aware that other drivers have been coming into the pits, but the Flying Fin still leading out front as he makes his way under the tunnel through Sector 3 and towards the pit lane entrance, where we will find out whether or not the Williams driver is going to gamble it and go on to the intermediates or gamble it and stay out. Either way, it feels like a gamble. But here we go. He is going to go into the pits. TRL Martin is going to go into the pits, and Seiryu has decided he is going to do something different, and that's what I like to see, Fizzy. I think this might actually be the right call.
Yeah, because it doesn't look particularly wet on the track, but it's hard to know really with this game what is and what isn't the right call until you actually feel it in those tires. And there we go. Those two guys onto the inters, and a reversal doing the same as Seiryu, staying out on a lap 20 for another set of slick tire running. So yeah, be interesting to see who it will work out for. The Flying Fin suddenly looked to have quite a bit of a wheel spin coming out of the pits onto the throttle, and now as well Ycoms coming in. So we're definitely at the crossover point, but of course it's these tiny margins as to whether you go one lap longer or one lap less, which could see Seiryu either jump the two other guys or fall behind.
Yeah, Jason out there is struggling on those intermediates, but it seems that Stu is struggling slightly less. Oh gosh! And yeah, this is a very, very easy corner. Turn 18. We've seen that plenty of times in races. We've seen it in practice sessions. Even my hero, Alexander Rossi, has crashed out at that corner, so I won't hold that against him too much. Seiryu continuing on those soft compound tires. Surely he's thinking about coming into the pits for these green-marked intermediate tires, though. The Flying Fin does seem to be doing pretty well on those intermediates. He's certainly not going to be setting the timing boards purple or anything like that. He's not going to be setting any fastest laps, but he does seem to be keeping TRL Martin at bay, who is probably a second or two just behind. But of course, DRS will be deactivated as a result of the conditions. But Seiryu able to get the car slowed down quite easily, actually, for turn 18. Oh, and there's the 3-second time penalty for Seiryu, getting a bit greedy with that inside curbing, and I assume we're going to see the Renault driver coming into the pits for the set of medium compound tires. Oh, look at that! Look, Tyrrell Martin through turn 16, just struggling. DRS disabled. We knew that was coming, and Seiriu is in fact into the pits to get off those matching yellow tires for the banana car and onto a set of intermediates, and that is at the end of lap 20, so 11 laps remaining. I have to imagine, Fizzy, that the intermediates will do... Oh, getting very exciting for Reversal at the pit entry, and the Flying Finn, is he going to overtake Seiriu? It is going to be close, but no, I think he's got him. Yep, he does have him indeed. But again, Seiriu with those one-lap fresher tires, he could be in a good position. We've also seen Martin struggling with these intermediates in these conditions. So as it was at the beginning of the race, or rather in qualifying, it may be once again Seiriu versus the Flying Finn. But Tyrrell Martin actually closing up. Again, DRS has been deactivated, so no DRS assistance. But Mike Marshmallow out of the session, so that's unfortunate for the Sauber driver. But the other Sauber of AOR Reversal doing well in 5th position despite those issues earlier, Fizzy.
Yeah, it's done well to recover at least some positions after those major screen freezes that he had. So let's have replay of Ycoms. Oh, not that corner again. Oh no, I just knew that when I saw the corner coming up on the replay, I knew what was going to happen there, and that's more front wing damage for Ycoms, as if he hadn't had enough problems driving around with the front wing at the start of the race. Now the main focus, of course, on the top 3, and Seiriu seems to be struggling a little bit.
He does.
On the first few laps here on the intermediate tires, maybe just struggling to kind of get used to the conditions. It's some drivers are able to get used to changing conditions quicker than others, and that's one skill that you kind of have to master, especially at the moment in this league, considering this is the 4th race in a row where it's gone from dry to wet, which is an interesting one. So I'm guessing that some of the drivers might be getting a bit tired of that particular predicament, but Seiriu, at the moment, not quite been able to keep close to the Flying Finn, and really has to worry about Tyrrell Martin in the battle for second.
Yeah, I think I may have commentator cursed him, because I said that it was going to be Seiriu versus the Flying Finn, but now the Flying Finn starting to break away. Seiriu defending from Tyrrell Martin, who we saw struggling earlier in the race after initially fitting these intermediates. Oh, but I think the Flying Finn has had a poor Sector 3 or a poor Sector 2, and that has allowed Seiriu to close right up to the back of him. Again, no DRS, but certainly there is plenty of slipstream, especially with the amount of downforce that these guys are putting on for the Singapore Grand Prix. Here's a replay of Jason97 and Stu continuing to do battle. Stu making contact with the barrier there, and Jason just about getting it slowed down, giving him the room at the inside of the corner, or outside of the corner, I should say. Lucky Dog 2000 now. What's that?
Stu actually retired from the session there, so he had enough of wall hitting, and he's no longer racing.
Ouch. Okay, so yeah, that is very unfortunate for him. Lucky Dog, though, now will be the the person that's going to be dueling with Jason97. So we've got Ferrari versus Ferrari powered here in Singapore at the end of lap number 23. Lucky Dog 2000 now, possibly a bit of a specialist. I don't know. Again, he has won the Singapore Grand Prix here in the past. I don't know what the conditions were for that race, but if it was raining, I can understand why he is able to put the moves on Jason97 F1. Got the inside line for turn 1, inside line for turn number 3. They're still side by side. The Ferrari with the better traction coming out of the corner. He'll have the inside line for turn number 5. Now again, no DRS. He's going to have to leave him room. Lucky Dog leaves the room, leaves the space at the inside of the corner, carries more speed out of the corner. He is ahead as they get onto the straight, but now the Ferrari picks up the slipstream, moves to the right-hand side. They're going to be side by side once again into turn number 7. He outbrakes him a little bit. Can Lucky Dog get him? Oh yeah, he's gone a little bit deep there, and the Haas driver, Lucky Dog 2000, now up into the points. Fantastic battle between those guys there.
Man, I love that. I absolutely love that. In these difficult conditions on this difficult track, and we see battles like that, is absolutely fantastic to see. So fair play to Lucky Dog for getting the move done in the end, and look how close Seiriu is to the Flying Finn. These are the two main contenders for the championship. Of course, the Flying Finn has got that big gap at the moment in the championship, but not at all a big gap in this race. Seiriu right on him, and now seems to have gotten more comfortable on those green striped intermediates. Not getting the best run out of turn 3 though, but through turn 5, can he get nice on the traction? No, he can't. He gets a bit of oversteer again, so it looked like he might have had a chance to challenge him down into turn 7 here, but unfortunately that bit of wheel spin has put an end to that for now. But of course we're in that situation with just 6 laps to go, where if the Flying Finn makes a tiny mistake, CRU and maybe even Martin will be right there to take advantage. And now let's have a look at Jason in 11th place with Burnout right behind him, going up the inside into turn 1, getting very close to get a bit of contact, but luckily no major harm done.
Yeah, and Jason just having all the excitement out there today in that Ferrari between the Force India, the Haas, and the Renault here now that joins him. He has had lots of excitement, and Burnout F1 clearly just feeling much more comfortable with the car in these conditions through the final couple of corners, just carrying so much more speed, even making contact with the back end of that Ferrari up ahead, and again into turn 1, closing massively through turn 2 and into turn 3 as well. Again, no DRS. Burnout F1 does seem to be much better out of the corner in the traction zone though, and is he going to force him into a side-by-side moment? Yeah, Jason's gonna have to leave room, but no, takes the racing line after squeezing out Burnout, but again, the Renault is gonna come back at him with the better exit out of turn number 5. He's going to have to go the long way around turn 7, though, from the outside into the braking zone now, and it looks like he's going to get it slowed down just fine. Jason as well is going to get it slowed down just fine, but is going to lose that position. Drops down now into 12th position, and with
yeah, I noticed. Actually, one of the biggest reasons actually Jason's dropping so much down now is that he actually, after getting that front wing damage a few laps ago, he didn't pit, so he's still driving around with a red front right end plate. Actually,
you're right. Yeah, you can see the damage visibly just by looking at the end plate, actually comparing the left to the right hand side. And of course, with this being a counterclockwise circuit, I believe that is actually the worst of the two end plates to break off. Here's a replay between Burnout and Jason as they went side by side into turn number 7. I'm not sure who is providing these cameras, but a big thank you to whoever is, because it is always appreciated when somebody gets out of the race and they take the time to continue recording the replays for us. Tyrell Martin, meanwhile, still holding on to that 3rd place position, I assume, since it doesn't show his position up at the top left. I think, Fizzy, are we getting into full wet conditions here? They did say, I noticed a couple of the race engineers actually using the words heavy rain at different points in the race, and with just 2 laps remaining. Oh, we've got race control message, incident between Seiriu and Six Hills, 20-second penalty for Seiriu. The man that is 68 points behind the leader in the championship now has to contend with a 20-second time penalty. That is almost, well, it is certainly going to drop him behind Martin. Is it going to drop him behind Hamilton? I don't know. Hamilton's just getting into turn 18 now, just ahead of AOR Reversal. I don't know if that's 20 seconds or not, but certainly this is not the type of penalty. This is not the type of result that he would have wanted. Seiriu, again, the main contender in the championship, as we are rapidly approaching the end of this season, Fizzy, and that is a big blow.
Yeah, definitely. That is, of course, what can happen if you... I was going to talk about Seiriu's mistake, and this is a big mistake for his teammate Burnout, completely clipping the wall there, and that's going to let Jason back through into 11th position as he recovers with a bit of front right wing damage. But, warning for a reversal there. He's got to be careful as well on the throttle. He's closing on Cyril Hamilton. And to be fair to Cyril Hamilton, though, he's been, we've not seen too much of him in the race, but he's in 4th place, which would be a massive points haul compared to what he's had earlier in the season. And that's just a replay of what happened to Burnout. Not quite ideal for him. But yeah, Hamilton has had 1 podium earlier in the season, but apart from that, has barely scored any points. So nice to see him having a good race for once as well. And yeah, for Seiriu, though, been to see how much he drops down with that 20-second penalty, because that big mistake when he was right behind 6 skills has unfortunately cost him quite a bit here.
Yep, I think it may have cost 6 skills even more, to be fair, potentially with the damage he was running around. But yeah, it is unfortunate for Seiriu, because certainly it wasn't intentional. It was a mistake. We don't want to be attacking Seiriu, but oh my gosh, it's Burnout F1 and Jason side by side once again into turn number 7, and Burnout is going to get that position back after making that mistake on the previous lap. Speaking of which, it is the penultimate lap. There's just 1 more lap remaining. We haven't seen anybody making the gamble onto the full wet tires. If they were going to do that, it would have been at the end of the previous lap, though. I don't expect anybody to come in at the end of lap 30 for a set of full wets, but Yeah, it's just very unfortunate oh gosh, it's very unfortunate for both of the Renaults as Burnout F1 with another mistake. I don't know how close he was to getting points. Oh, RS Falcon into turn 18. He's going to have some issues through there as well. Ycoms manages to keep it out of the barriers for turn 18, but he's still got one more lap remaining, so hopefully I didn't just commentator curse him as well. But yeah, it's just it's unfortunate for Seiryu. Of course, you know, he didn't mean to take out 6 skills. It was all an accident. But at the same time, you know, penalties need to be given out for those types of things, and that is definitely going to hurt him in the championship. But there is, you know, still half a dozen races left in this season, so anything can still happen. But certainly today, here at the Singapore Grand Prix, it has not been very beneficial for Seiryu.
Yeah, and of course it doesn't help that the championship leader, the Flying Finn, has looked, you know, not at all untouchable today, but he's looked for the majority of the race to be relatively in control, even though the gap has been only around 1 second or less for the most part. It's mostly been a sort of a challenge for Seiryu and Martin to keep close to him, and it looks like now if Flying Finn can just navigate his final few corners that he will take another win for this season. I think it'll be win number 9, which just shows how good he is at the moment.
Wow, 9 wins in 15 races, so that is 60% of the races that he will have won. AOR Reversal, though, is he's not interested in whether or not CRL Hamilton has had any good results recently. He's going to try and take that 4th place position before the checkered flag as the Flying Finn grabs that win. Seiryu will cross the line in 2nd position, but TRL Martin will take that 2nd step on the podium. Again, AOR Reversal trying to probably keep his focus with all these fireworks going off as he makes his way through Sector 3. You can see, wow, there's some crazy lighting going on with the spray coming off of the Mercedes up ahead, and he's just, yeah, he doesn't even care anymore. He's just going to cross the line to grab that 4th place position again. So Hamilton actually does pick up a podium because of that penalty for Seiryu. RS Falcon hitting that turn 18 barrier again. I did actually commentators curse him, I guess. Ycoms, though, makes his way through that tunnel without too much issue, but it does seem that he is going to be a bit too far back. He is also getting quite the light display coming off the off the spray on that McLaren up ahead. Fantastic effects going on there. But Ycoms is going to cross. He got 7th. So does that mean Seiryu is 8th?
Definitely not. Surely not. There's definitely a few drivers with penalties, I think. Just in-game penalties there. As Lucky Dog gets a final point. So who will finish ahead though of Jason and Burnout? So that's a battle for 11th. No points on offer. But of course Jason with that front wing damage for a long time. Of course Burnout also with a bit of damage now, and he doesn't get close enough. So he will finish in P12. And here, Justin, is the final result. Let's see how the penalties affect things.
Wow, so Andre with the 1 stop is going to pick up 5th position. We didn't even really notice him at the end of the race. He's actually going to finish ahead of CRL Hamilton because Hamilton had 9 seconds worth of penalty points, and Seiryu still gets 3rd because of all the penalties from other people. So he only loses 1 position despite 23 seconds of penalty points. He's still going to finish 4 seconds essentially ahead of Reversal, who does pick up 4th place. A fantastic drive from Reversal considering all of the issues that he had early in the race. Ycoms does pick up 7th position because of an extra 3-second time penalty for the car that was ended up being behind him. So lots of time penalties up and down the field, and in fact only 12 cars finishing that race out of 19. So I guess I wasn't joking when I said it was going to be a race of attrition.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. It's quite a few drivers at the end, I think. 6 kills, Stu, Raikkonen, Mike Marshmallow, Faranglish, and Alonso all not making it to the end. Of course, Limitless as well with that disconnection coming back to haunt him there. And for the driver championship, that means the gap at the top now, 78 points from the Flying Finn down to Seiryu. That is looking quite ominous with only 6 races to go, but you never quite know what's happening. We're not going to rule anything out just yet. And of course, Tyrrell Martin jumps Cupid after Cupid was not here today. And that's the only position change actually in the top 11 of the Driver Championship. Reversal have a nice gap down to Limitless, who is only 11 ahead of Jason, who is then 6th down to Leobot. Ycoms closing in on Leobot a tiny bit with today's results, and Andre as well pulling away a bit from the cars behind.
Yeah, so the magic number is 13, and that is the number of points that Seiryu needs to outscore the Flying Finn at every single race until the end of the season. If he wants to try and grab that championship lead at any point in time, he's going to have to outscore the Flying Finn by actually more than 13 points per race on average. Red Bull Racing, with no points in Singapore, is going to drop down to 4th in the Constructors' Championship. A lot of movement here as Renault moves up into 2nd position, followed very closely, just 10 points separating Renault and Mercedes. And Red Bull actually only 4 points behind, and again, with 6 races remaining, still plenty of movement to be made there. But again, all of the teams having scored points, 7 of the teams having scored over 100 points after 15 races, so it has been quite the eventful season. But of course, one man has stood above it all, and that is the Flying Finn, and he will continue on at the next round, which is going to be the Malaysian Grand Prix, round 16, and he's going to try and extend that championship lead even further. Personally, Fizzy, this is one of my top 3 favorite circuits. I absolutely love turns 5, 6, 7, 8, that whole middle sector. I love the penultimate corner. I absolutely love the Malaysian Grand Prix. It is definitely a favorite of mine, so I'm really looking forward to that. I've also heard it's the cheapest Grand Prix to go to, so I'd like to go to that one day. Yeah. So it was another mixed conditions race, Fizzy, and another fantastic race. So any closing thoughts?
No, not really. It was fun as always to follow the race, and next time, of course, Malaysia is going to be another good one. It's unusual to have Malaysia going on this late in the season, it has to be said, but I'm sure these drivers will put on another fantastic show.
Yep, really looking forward to it. As I mentioned, Malaysia, one of my favorites. I hope you guys enjoyed today's broadcast of the Singapore Grand Prix for AOR Season 12. Join us next time for the Malaysian Grand Prix, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.